We have reached the inevitable book banning purge list portion of the right-wing education backlash.
So now we're
began last year.
Now we're moving into CRT.
The book banning, Adam.
Mm-hmm. Oh my!
The Republicans are coming to ban the books. Let me read you the description of the Vincent brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a boy to fall head over heels in love with you isn't easy, especially when he's been in love with your cousin for as long as you can remember. They frame it as the Republicans are evil, racist, and anti and homophobes and transphobes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a list of the books they're looking at, and this is the books that they banned. And so they're putting in your mind, the viewer, that the books that were banned have something to do with racism
or CRT,
or CRT or LGBT issues. And as I just read, and I looked at this, at least the subject for the second one, they have nothing to do with any of that stuff. They're these teen romance novels, which, reading the summary, do seem like they get pretty
dicey.
Sexual. They do seem pretty racy. And so for some guy who's on a school board who's probably extra prude to say, look, I looked at the scenes in these books. They're pornographic. I think they're pornographic. They shouldn't be in a fucking library for children. I think that's a totally reasonable position to have.
We have reached the inevitable book banning purge list portion of the right-wing education backlash.
So now we're moving
began last year.
Now we're moving into CRT.
The book banning, Adam.
Mm-hmm. Oh my!
The Republicans are coming to ban the books. What are you gonna do?
How do you feel about them using the term witch hunt on the Chiron?
The CRT witch hunt.
Yeah.
Like the graphic. It's got books and it's got like police tape over it and it says America gone backward.
In the last segment,
mm-hmm.
Chris Hayes was definitely the witch hunter of Joe Rogan. Yes. Now the tables have turned. Now it's the Republicans that are witch hunting him. And he's just a poor, innocent lover of critical race theory.
That's what I thought was kind of interesting about juxtaposing these two issues, is that this happened after the first clip I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have they put on their little Puritan outfits and they want to go burn Joe Rogan at the stake.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, but the CRT banning, look at these witch hunters. They're so terrible coming in and trying to cancel books.
Yes. Trying to categorize American history as race Marxism. The nerve of them.
No.
How dare they cite original sources?
When a bunch of bad faith activists whipped up a moral panic about critical race theory.
Oh my God, he's fucking driving me crazy already.
It's crazy how, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm trying, like years ago when I used to watch the news every day,
mm-hmm.
I don't remember them being this
dishonest.
They had their political slants, but they wouldn't be like a bunch of bad faith actors. Like he can read directly into the mind of the anti-CRT people and knows that they're all secret racists.
Whipping up a moral panic. These talking points, these talking points have been out for a while. They need to freshen them up.
I know.
The bad faith actors whipping up a moral panic. Well,
they still work.
I've heard like a billion times.
If I get into arguments with normies about CRT,
they say this.
They have the talking points. They have CRT is just about history. It's not being taught. It's like contradictory. CRT is just about history, but it's also not being taught in school.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
it's
just a fake
history.
Right. Also, it's just a fake moral. I always love the fake moral panic because I'm like, well, what? I go, if it's a fake moral panic, and the bill text of the law is not like bad on its face, then why do you care if it passes or not?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Why make a big deal about it?
Yeah, they just.
Of course, it has not stopped.
The reason why they don't want it to pass is they don't want the Republicans to have any kind of win.
No. They want it to pass.
Excite their voters.
No, they want it to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they want is they want to have the clip of them calling the state legislature, the Republicans, racist, and they want the clip of having, like in Mississippi,
bill pass. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Where they have all the black senators and representatives walk out of the room in a huff, going, "This is the most racist thing that's ever happened since the 1960s, and they walk out of the room all upset.
Right. Yeah.
They want all these sound clips.
All theater.
Yeah, it's all theater. It's all political theater. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it has not stopped there. Now we are seeing a very, very familiar kind of conservative wave of suppression cloaked in concern about the children. This is happening all over the country.
Conservatives don't care about the children. So it's just so you know that.
Well,
Chris Hayes will tell you about it.
It's so hilarious because you can just take, like, just imagine this.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine this and then just replace it with like creationism.
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly Chris Hayes is like, you know, a crazy right-wing preacher guy. Or just replace it with like Chris Hayes is black and white and it's the 1950s and he's anti-school, you know, desegregation or something.
Yeah, totally.
It's like all the same language, all the same rhetoric. You just change out the subject matter.
Yeah. It's all terrible.
But it's not going unchecked. Late last year in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, Republican, ordered education officials to, quote, develop statewide standards, prevent the presence of pornography and other obscene content in Texas public schools, including in school libraries.
I know. What? Hold on a second. Why is he bitching about this?
Pornography and obscene content. Well, I guess, you know, obviously obscene content is going to be, you know, Martin Luther King Jr. speeches or something.
Oh, that's considered pornography now? That I have a dream? What kind of dream was he having?
Listen, it's a very exciting dream, okay?
I have a...
Some Texas districts have
It was about children, Adam, okay? Obviously, it's obscene.
Terrible. How dare you?
Taken this directive and used it as a license to remove all sorts of books, especially those focusing on LGBTQ plus topics, race and racism, and even sex education. The Granbury Independent School District, which is outside of Fort Worth, put together a list of more than 100 books to consider removing from its libraries. This is the list. It includes titles.
Okay, did you catch that? These books have not been removed. They're being reviewed for consideration.
Well, no, I didn't. I totally missed it. I would.
There's a list
watch...
of 100 books that are being reviewed to be considered to be removed from the library forever.
I would be watching the entire rest of this segment thinking all these books are being removed.
That's how it's framed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's framed.
Being Jazz, my life as a transgender teen.
Yep.
That's Jazz.
That Jazz, I forget her last name. Yeah.
She has a television show.
The television show. Yeah, but it's also, I mean, this is such a, it's funny because I think this was an optical loss too, from both sides. Both the Democrats complaining about this, but also from the Republicans for the same reason. I understand them going after like the curriculum. Who the fuck is reading the books in their school library?
Yeah.
Nobody. Who cares?
Yeah.
You could hide porn in your school library. No one would ever find out about it.
That's true.
There's nobody anytime I've ever seen a student in the library back when I went to school, it was to use the fucking computer. I can't even imagine what it's like now.
There's this thing called the internet.
Yeah. I was like watching this. I'm like, the only way that they get kids interested in what's in the school library is they start putting like manga in there. Yeah. Then kids would actually start reading shit.
These are the books that we're not restocking because nobody's opened them in 2 years.
Yeah, I would love that. It's like, I would actually love that. And it should be, because when you check out a book, like there's usually a log. I'd be super curious as to how many times any of these books have ever been checked out by fucking anyone.
Definitely not.
Titles like Being Jazz, My Life as a Transgender Teen, Safe Sex 101, An Overview for Teens, and Separate is Never Equal, Sylvia Mendez and Her Family's Fight for Desegregation. They have already removed 5 novels by a New York Times bestselling young adult author.
Justification for removal. Overtly sexual content. Okay.
That's what I hate about this stuff is like, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of like Karen adults that are like, I don't want my children reading, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's silly because, your kids all have internet porn. But I think it's totally reasonable and rational for adults to not want their children to have in their schools, like some overtly sexual material. Okay. I can totally relate to that. being a reasonable concern.
So listen to these titles. Losing the Field Until Friday Night. Bad for You Until the End. What do you think these books are about? Your teenage daughter is reading these, Sitch. What do you think Losing the Field is about? I'm curious.
Well, it's funny because if you look up
read the summary on one of these books.
If you look up the Vincent brothers, there's two covers I see. One has a shirtless man who's like about to make out with like a woman whose dress is like falling off.
Oh, nice.
It looks like a classic, like, you know,
romance novel cover.
And the other one is a woman's lips like provocatively like kissing a green apple. So like,
that's the school
I don't
version.
know. Maybe it's okay that what does this have to do with being anti-LGBT or racist? I'm very confused by this.
Yeah, that seems very heteronormative to me, that cover you described.
Here you go. Let me read you the description of the Vincent brothers. Getting a boy to fall head over heels in love with you isn't easy, especially when he's been in love with your cousin for as long as you can remember.
Wow.
Lana has lived her life in your cousin's shadow. Ashton, oh my God, this is fucking like the cringiest shit ever. Ashton always made perfect grades, had tons of friends, and looks model perfect.
I feel like I'm listening to the Majority Report here. The jealousy just wafting off the pages here.
She's always had Sawyer Vincent, the only boy Lana's ever wanted, wrapped around her finger. But now things are different. Lana has a chance to make Sawyer see her, and she's taking it. If only he'd get over Aston, because Lana is sick of second best.
My God, what a home record. So basically this book is about a home wrecker.
This is like the fucking cringiest CW teen drama description that I'm reading. And Chris Hayes is complaining that this book was banned on national news as if this is an infringement on Black and LGBT people's rights.
This is gaslighting of the highest order. First of all of this is heteronormative patriarchy fare, okay? This would not pass the Bechdel test, this book.
No. Oh, wait a minute, there's more. Sawyer's heart is broken. He's lost his best girl to his best friend.
What?
And then Lana comes to town. Ashton's cousin has always been sweet and soft-spoken, but now she's drop dead gorgeous as well.
Wow.
Sawyer doesn't know if Lana can heal his broken heart, but spending time with her might at least make Ashton jealous. What starts as a carefree fling becomes a lusty game of seduction. Sawyer and Lana may have different motives, but their scintillating hookups are the same kind of steamy.
I got to admit, is there an audiobook? I'm kind of interested. This sounds very educational.
Oh my God.
I'm glad the school library likes these books are for like the librarian, right?
Martin Luther King Jr. is spitting in his grave. He's crying tears. He's saying, I'm having a nightmare that my children can't walk into their school library and read the dumbest, most cringiest of lame CW teen sex drama female romance novel garbage. Oh, the censorship.
Tell me, Sitch, is there a civil rights B story? Is there anything?
Not in this summary. Fuck. Chris Hayes, this is pathetic.
Are they at least interracial? It's his cousin or something.
No, there's no interracial. There's nothing. There's nothing here.
Why are the progressives protecting this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I thought for sure when I looked this up, it'd be about
children.
Well, yeah. I assumed looking it up, it would be about like an LGBT relationship or something, but no, it's just literally your standard teen drama trash fire bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it probably shouldn't be in the school library.
It's Twilight without the vampires.
That's right.
Earlier this week at the Granbury School Board meeting, the superintendent attacked those who are concerned about this purge. And if I did not tell you that this happened just the other day in the year 2022, you could be fooled into thinking this speech was from another era.
It's so, he frames it as a purge. The purge. The purge.
What would the children do without their steamy CW trash teen drama novels?
Well, they probably just pull out their phone and fucking listen to it.
How will the children learn to be in toxic relationships if they can't read melodrama?
Yeah.
Let's not misrepresent things. We're not taking Shakespeare or Hemingway off the shelves, and we're not going and grabbing every socially, culturally, or religiously diverse book and pulling them. That's absurd. And the people that are saying that are gaslighters, and it's designed to incite division.
Okay.
That's totally true.
Yeah, but
what
Chris
he said
Hayes
was completely accurate.
Chris Hayes categorized that by saying, this is something you expect to hear in like the 1960s desegregation movement.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he described what that guy just said, which was perfectly reasonable.
Wasn't this guy just totally going full Karen on Joe Rogan for misinformation? What the fuck? What is happening here?
Yes, he was.
How is this possible? Where is that guy who's supposed to be?
He has no shame. Okay, that's how it's possible.
Do you think he knows that he's lying, or do you think the producers are just like, oh, Chris Hayes, he's a dumbass?
I think
just give him the script.
I think Chris Hayes truly believes that all these laws are just secret. The law isn't racist, but it's secret racism. Okay.
Right.
If you can just read the minds of the Republican lawmakers, they're up to something, Adam. You know, why else would they pass this law? They're up to something.
Yeah, no. They want to get that trashy romance novel out of the library so that they can appear to be doing something, so they can get reelected.
Well, it's so ridiculous because whenever you see, for all the books, the examples of the books that are banned, whenever they show like the person talking about the book banning, it's always like some Karen parent like, I don't want my child reading profanity and sex. It like has nothing to do with racism or LGBT issues or anything at all. It's just some prude somewhere is like, I don't want my kid reading this child in this book says GD to their own parent, and this is not responsible for kids to read.
GD, huh? Yeah.
The old goddamn.
Did you notice that Michael Moore is right next to him on the school?
There you go.
Panel?
Professional documentarian Michael Moore is on this school board.
He stepped out.
I removed were vulgar. The writing was sexually explicit and, in my opinion, pornographic. It has no place in the hands of 13, 14, or 15-year-old kids, and our school owes our community an apology for ever having allowed it into our schools.
And see, this is what's so disgusting. This is why, fuck you, Chris Hayes, you lying smear merchant. Okay, is because this is how they frame it. They frame it as the Republicans are evil, racist, and anti and homophobes and transphobes. This is a list of the books they're looking at, and this is the books that they banned. And so they're putting in your mind, the viewer, that the books that were banned have something to do with racism
or CRT,
or CRT or LGBT issues. And as I just read, and I looked at this, at least the subject for the second one, they have nothing to do with any of that stuff. They're these teen romance novels, which, reading the summary, do seem like they get pretty
dicey.
Sexual. They do seem pretty racy. And so for some guy who's on a school board who's probably extra prude to say, look, I looked at the scenes in these books, I think they're pornographic. They shouldn't be in a fucking library for children. I think that's a totally reasonable position to have.
It is reasonable.
And yet, because Chris Hayes and these other fucks are so twisted on this culture war narrative, which is so funny. They're complaining like the Republicans are so focused on the culture war. Chris Hayes over here is so focused on the culture war that he's twisting what would be a regular occurrence. Okay, a school board throwing out a book that has teen sex in it from the school library. They got to twist that around to being part of the fucking culture war. The projection is insane.
Yeah, it is insane. It's dishonest just to have the Chiron up that says the CRT witch hunt while this guy is speaking. These books have nothing to do with CRT. Yeah,
right.
So these 5 books were banned. We just read one of the summaries, and this is a direct response to those 5 books, which are fucking racist pornography, or not racist, but sexist porn, or you know what I mean. Yeah, no, it's terrible. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.